Salve ragazzi, io sono Fablinker e oggi siamo qua su The Council per un nuovo video. Allora, dovevamo parlare con il grande Mortimer, no? Dopo il sconvolgente suicidio di Perù, Mortimer mi vuole parlare. Non so cosa voglia però. Però va bene lo stesso, parliamo.
Louis, I wanted to talk to you a moment about what has happened. All this is tragic, but I wanted to thank you for doing what you could.
I wasn't able to save him.
You couldn't, Louis. You mustn't blame yourself. It is not your fault.
Vabbè, è colpa vostra. Oddio. Aspetta un attimo, Mortimer. Cosa è immunità scienza? Ma non ho altre sue cose. E facendo questa potremo scoprire un'immunità o una vulnerabilità. Quindi io proverei.
I know this has nothing to do with me, my lord, but don't you think you're partly to blame? It won't escape your attention that he incriminated you before he took his own life.
I heard what he said, yes. Monsieur Peru appeared to blame me for his condition. I certainly encouraged him to succeed, but I wasn't aware he couldn't handle the pressures of the situation. Of course, his duties in Paris were very difficult. The choices he had to make were burdensome. But that was the path he had chosen. Should I not have helped him to succeed, perhaps? You heard him yourself. His duties as judge got the better of him.
Did you push him into it?
I wouldn't say push, but I did encourage him, yes. I thought it was my duty to help him as much as I could to become the court judge he dreamed of being. I thought he was capable of it. It appears I was mistaken, unfortunately. What a pity he didn't come and speak to me. What a waste.
What are your plans now?
What do you mean?
For the conference? After the disappearances of both Elizabeth Adams and my mother, and now the death of Mr. Perlu, I should imagine that your guests are all packing their bags.
This might come as a bit of a shock to you, perhaps because it was so difficult to bring all these figures together. But I am convinced that none of them is preparing to leave.
Alla fine non ha avuto successo, nel senso che non è né un'immunità né una vulnerabilità. Comunque, sta di fatto che Mortimer tutto bene? Perché Mortimer scatta come se fosse... Vabbè. Sta di fatto che questo tizio per me... Ma sì, però non riesco a concentrarmi con uno che fa così. Dicevo, sto tizio ha dei segreti nascosti. È un po' una faccia da... avete capito, insomma. Allora... ma è immorale. Cioè, non ha senso continuare, secondo me.
And you endorse that? For God's sake, that's totally immoral.
Morality and politics don't go well together, my boy. Like water and oil, they
Sì,
cannot mix.
in effetti
By
qua ha anche
definition,
ragione,
politics is not immoral as much as it is amoral. It must not take into account any morality that would constitute a hindrance. Otherwise, it could not be free to make tough decisions.
Do you realize what you just said?
It's a question of duty, Louis. Look, morality evolves over time and differs depending on the habits and customs of each country. It must not be a criterion. What we are doing here, Louis, will change the very face of the world. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is our duty. The future is in motion, and nothing must stop it.
If you say so. Allow me to take my leave, please.
Of course.
direi che è ora. No, comunque...
One
che
more
vuoi?
thing, please. I wanted to thank you for your support during the conference. You've made the right choice, and it gives me tremendous satisfaction to have you with me on this project.
Ma in realtà... Sì, però smettila Mortimer di scattare, porca trota, smettila. Facciamo la doppia faccia, su.
What is at stake is worth it, my lord. Now, I won't hide from you the fact that I have no idea by what miracle we could ever get a unanimous vote.
Trust me, Louis. We still have a few more cards to play. You'll see. Anything can happen in politics.
Sì, 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 sì. Io mi fido poco, sinceramente, devo essere molto sincero. Allora, torniamo nella nostra stanza. Però a me questo Mortimer mi dà troppo fastidio. Non so perché a pelle mi sembra una persona cattiva. Poi magari mi sbaglio, ma non credo di sbagliarmi, Per me è una persona molto cattiva. E dicevo prima della politica, la politica non ne frega niente della gente che muore, l'importante è i loro interessi e qua l'ha fatto capire ben specificatamente, seppur non l'abbia detto chiaramente, però l'ha fatto capire. Allora, adesso bisogna trovare la stanza però, è sempre un problema quando devo trovare la stanza perché non la trovo mai, non so perché, però non la trovo mai. Non è questa, vero? Posso entrare? Magari riesco a sbloccare qualche cosa secondaria che si può fare, magari, o qualche camera che ancora non ho esplorato per bene. Potrebbe essere. Guardiamoci un attimo, magari troviamo qualche suggerimento in più sulla questione, che non può assolutamente far male.
What do you want from me, Richet? Get on with it. I'm busy.
I wanted to speak to you about the
Proviamo.
conference.
Listen, you chose your side. You had every possible reason to make the right choice, but you preferred to commit yourself to Mortimer. Good luck, because it's a lost battle. The subject is closed. Anything else?
Ancora.
I wanted to speak to you about the conference.
Listen, you chose
Ho capito,
your side.
niente, pensavo
You had
che
every possible reason to make
si
the right
potesse
choice, but you
sbloccare una
preferred
cosa
to commit
diversa,
yourself to
invece
Mortimer.
no.
Good luck,
Sì,
because
bene.
it's a lost battle. The
Good
subject
luck,
is
bene.
closed. Anything else?
Diciamo che c'ha... Diciamo
Excuse me. This is the
che...
wrong room.
Era abbastanza nervosetto il tizio. Direi che... Non so neanche dove sto andando, devo essere sincero. Vado un po' a caso. Non ho ancora capito dove sono di stanza dopo 10 ore di gioco. Però questo è un altro discorso. Allora. Qui chi c'è? C'è qualcuno? Sto andando a trovare tutti, bene o male. Ancora sta stanza? No, basta, basta. Mette l'ansia questa stanza qui. È un'agonia. Usciamo subito, che forse è meglio. Ah, c'è il vecchio cardinale.
Your Eminence.
Ah, Louis, you were admirable. You didn't manage to save Peru, but whatever you do, don't blame yourself. You did your best.
Thank you.
Sembra quasi contento.
It's not going to help matters for Mortimer. Now he has one less vote for the conference.
Etichetta. Lui cos'è? Cos'è vulnerabile? Il nostro amico. Dove sta? Dove sta? Pure morto. No, dove sta questo qua? Piaggi, ecco. Immunità, logica e erudizione. Questa è etichetta. Proviamo. Ah, non possiamo neanche provare in realtà. Allora niente.
You don't seem too affected by it, though.
Louis, I do not appreciate your remark, which I will put down to the indiscretions of you.
Però la verità.
I am here in the interests of the Holy See. But I am above all a Christian, and it hurts me to see lost souls take a wrong turn.
Of course. Of course.
I hope that Monsieur Peru's act will help you reconsider your choice, Louis. Sincerely, see where his support for Lord Mortimer got him.
Proviamo.
As for you, Your Eminence, I'd advise you to be wary of your allies.
Come, Louis. I am past the age of being influenced by simple posturing. I am tired now. Let us resume our discussion later. if you
Ma
don't
guarda,
mind.
As you please, Your Eminence.
io farei anche mai, mi stai proprio simpaticissimo. Mamma mia. Comunque non ce n'è uno simpatico, Forse da Hillsborough, quella è abbastanza simpatica, però gli altri veramente, mamma mia. Sono veramente poco simpatici. C'è Washington qua. Washington. Dove sta Washington? È scomparso Washington. Washington mica si sarà suicidato, eh. Si faccia vedere. Dov'è? Niente, Washington è sparito. Non c'è più. Niente, vabbè. Qua c'è quassù. C'è qualcosa.
Golden elixir.
Vabbè, può sempre servire, anche se ora dubito che servirà. Va bene. Cosa c'è qua sotto? Vabbè, come l'altra volta, non ci interessa. La letti nello scorso episodio, quindi direi che possiamo anche andare avanti. Io a questo punto andrei direttamente nella mia stanza, perché tanto vedo che ogni dialogo è abbastanza inutile, quindi tanto vale manco andare avanti a star lì a rompere le scatole agli ospiti, tanto sono tutti poco simpatici, a parte la Isbrov e pochi altri, quindi lasciamo stare, va? Che forse è meglio. Sembrano tutti i soliti ricconi, facce un po' così da cavolo, e che pensano solo ai loro interessi. Ed è effettivamente così secondo me, però. Qua questa è una stanza che non si può andare, non capisco perché. È sempre stata bloccata. E questa è la nostra? No, questa è Poggi. Però Poggi via. Potremmo controllarne la sostanza e non possiamo andarci. Vabbè. Questa è la nostra, vero? Sì. Andiamo, va. Andiamo qui, andiamo qui. Andiamo a dormire, va, che forse è meglio. Dopo un duro lavoro ci vuole un duro riposo. Che bei quadri, mamma mia, dormire così proprio deve essere bellissimo.
Not a day has gone by without something happening to me. What now?
Oh che cavolo. Posso dormire? Cioè, santo Dio.
Louis, open up, please.
Coming,
chi è?
Mr. President, I'm coming.
Washington.
Louis. Oh, there you are at last.
Yes,
I just saw your mother. She was accompanied by Emily, and they both went into the Duchess's room. I tried to join them, but I was refused entry. Louis, this does not bode well.
Oh, shit. Emily might want to avenge your sister. I must act quickly. You're right, Mr. President. Thank you.
No. Dobbiamo trovare Emily. Sì, ma Washington l'abbiamo chiuso dentro la nostra stanza. Vabbè. Ma dov'è che dovrebbe essere? Scusate, con tutto il bene. Dov'è che dovrebbe essere Emma, Emily, come cavolo si chiama? Che poi sono uguali. Sono gemelle. Vabbè, dove cavolo è Emily? Non so dove sia. E mo come ci arrivo? La sostanza dovrebbe essere. Ma qual è la sostanza? Che si ricorda più? Questo è Godoy. Sento urlare però. Beh, sono qua, sono qua.
I do believe that's Emily's voice.
Origlia.
I can't understand what she's saying.
Allora apri, no?
Emily! Emily, are you there? Answer me! Emily!
Fanno a non sentirlo. Vabbè, apri la porta, è buona, su. Proviamo. Visto che sappiamo fare.
It must be blocked on the other side. I'll have to find another way in, quick.
Ma non mi sembra che stiano parlando così in cattivo modo, cioè. Cosa possiamo fare? L'unico è passare da un'altra stanza, dal tetto. Dal tetto sì, vabbè, buonanotte. No, volevo dire dal balcone. L'unico modo è questo. Non penso che dal tetto si possa fare sul serio, vero? Non credo almeno. Poi magari in realtà era dal tetto sul serio.
I have to get inside Emily's room through the... Shit!
Oh, ma allora c'è... Fate apposta. Forza, forza, su, che te frega. Qua sennò divento scemo io. Oh, bene. Dov'era la stanza di... Cos'è? Sta qui? Dove cavolo sta? Qua? No. Qua? Sì. Mi sa che ce l'abbiamo fatta, eh. Non vorrei dire, ma... Adesso chissà che cosa succederà. Il casino più totale. Il casino più totale sicuramente. Che ansia che era questo gioco a volte. Che ansia che fa venire. Mamma mia.
It's as if there were several people inside.
What are you on about now? I should never have told you what happened to me.
Ma intanto noi storiamo. Che ce frega?
I'm not that naive.
The younger
I know
addressed
things
to Emily.
around. Stop.
He's the present
We'll
Prime
end up
Minister of
using
the
it.
United
Cioè,
Kingdom.
so là che stanno parlando con un fucile in mano, però dettagli.
Madam, thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty.
Non ci abbiamo messa... Ah, si può fare? Perfetto, apriamo. Una lettera.
Dear Gregory, thank you for the information. I've managed to find out about the names you gave me. George Washington is a man you can trust. In spite of his obvious talent for politics, he has remained upright and honest. On the other hand, as you may well know, he is already doing business
All right. I've retrieved Queen Charlotte. A letter from William Pitt the Elder addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15... A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits.
Vabbè, basta, direi che ci siamo. Possiamo andare direttamente alla scena del crimine, su.
What on earth is... You... Mother?
How dare you do this to me? You can talk after everything I've done for you.
Ma che ca...
You are joking, I hope, right? I gave you my life. That's enough, Emma. Now that Louis is here, you will leave Sarah alone. Cease your revenge immediately. What? If you think you're going to... Louis, help me, I beg you. I can no longer reason with her. I am Emily. Quit playing games. What? Honestly, don't be ridiculous. No. I am Emily. You are wasting your time. Louis knows very well how to tell us apart.
Oddio.
After everything we've been through together.
Yes, well...
Don't you dare bring him into this. This is between you and me. I asked
Sì,
for
ma...
nothing more, so stop taking it out on Sarah. You prissy little bitch. How dare you? Now that I've told you everything, you want to take my place, do you? You are joking, I hope. I'm the one who told you everything that's been going on while you were away.
È morta
Go on,
no?
then. That's what you want, isn't it? You want to kill me. Go on then, shoot! After all the trouble I've gone through to find you. Go on. What are you waiting for? Here, Louis, take this.
Ma cosa?
What's going...
An entire life for this. Go on, shoot! Sorry, Louis, I can't shoot her. She's my sister. That's enough, Emma. Louis, out of the way. She's dangerous. Don't trust her. What are you trying to do? Louis, out of the way. I am not Emma. Come on, Louis, tell her who the real Emily is.
Wait,
That's right, Louis.
Ma che ne so
Fed up
io?
with this little game. Tell him who the real Emily is.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Well, Louis, come on, you know how to tell us apart, right?
Yes, but... I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure there's no doubt.
No.
And open, Louis. Let's see. How can I tell them apart?
Non c'ho i punti.
Wait, I've got an idea.
Non c'ho i punti,
The night of our
ragazzi.
arrival, you handed me something. I wasn't feeling very well, and you handed me something. What was it?
My handkerchief, and you stained it with your blood. You still have it, as a matter of fact. But she already knows all this, Louis. It's a waste of time.
Come fa a saperle?
Let's find something else. Ah, yes.
Let's speak about my arrival at the manor.
Come fa a saperle?
On the night of our arrival, we were warming ourselves in front of the fire. Mortimer welcomed us in a certain way. What happened exactly?
Well played, Louis. Unfortunately, I'm not the one you should have asked that question to. Mortimer did not welcome us. It was Sir Gregory who welcomed us that night. Mortimer didn't show up until 2 days later. I know that as well.
Very well.
Let's try something else.
On the first night, we went up to bed, but I wasn't tired. I went for a little stroll.
Davanti, davanti. Che cosa vi ha sottratto? Non posso? Perché non posso? Ah no, perché non siamo usciti con lei alla fine. Ci siamo visti?
Do you remember if we saw each other that night or not?
Not at all. Don't think you're going to get away with this deception so easily. I can assure you, you're going to regret pretending to be me once Louis has exposed you.
Right. I don't think I'll get very far like this. I'll have to find something better.
Oh, I don't think I'll even wait until he's finished.
Take it easy now.
Are you mad, Louis?
Lower your arm.
I better act quickly if I don't want things to get out of hand.
Come
ma
on,
come
she's putting
faccio?
one over on you. Look at yourself for crying out loud. You were prepared to shoot me down.
In the secret room behind the study. Talk to them about what you've been doing. Maybe they haven't spoken about it between each other yet.
On the night of the disappearance of Elizabeth Adams.
What about it? What do you want to know about that night?
We found ourselves in Mortimer's secret gallery. What did we find in that room?
A load of old junk that Mortimer had collected. A so-called Pandora's box in the form of an urn. An old sheepskin that he must take for the Golden Fleece. The Bible of Judas. Property deeds as old as the hills.
Ma che-
And a broken old sword. You are wasting your time, Louis. She already knows all that. Of course I do. I was there. That's enough! I've had enough of this charade. Louis, there's only one way to tell us apart. There's just one thing I didn't tell her about in detail. Too bad for you, Emma. I didn't want it to come to this, but you leave me no choice. Ask her about you and I. You just lost, Emma. I indeed didn't tell you everything about it. Come, Louis. Speak about our intimacy.
Very well, let's talk about us. Last night, you came to visit me, and I can't help wondering why. Why did you come to my room?
Louis, you must be mistaken. I did not go to your room last night. And that's where your little game ends, Emma. Because I never told you about it. So, there you can't answer. What? No! You didn't do that. I didn't want you to be jealous of Louis. Remember how you always used to react whenever you felt you were competing against a man?
Ma che... No,
That's
vabbè.
enough. I've had enough of this charade.
That's enough, both of you. Now I know who the real Emily is.
È quella dietro, ma chiaramente, no?
You are Emily Hillsborough.
I knew you wouldn't get it wrong, Louis. No! You little bitch! Watch out, Louis!
Ma no, perché?
Hell, what have I done?
See what you've done. See.
Louis? What on earth is going...
Mother!
Go. You must leave. Everyone's going to arrive.
Louis, what's going on?
Duchess? Is everything all right?
Go! Go, Mother! No one must find you here.
Go.
Come, Louis. There's nothing more you can do.
But I...
Leave us.
Emily, what's going on?
Mother, go to the crypt. I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I'm coming in.
It was bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her, please. Go, I'll cover you.
Quindi era Emily alla fine. Sì, per forza. Bene, bene, bene. Però perché doveva morire? Cioè, vabbè, non lo so veramente. Siamo veramente sfortunati comunque. Oh. Dove passiamo noi muoiono tutti. Adesso devo andare fino al giardino della cripta, che non so dove sia, non mi ricordo. Ah, di sopra, vero? Di sopra dovrebbe essere, se non erro. Dovrebbe essere di sopra. Però non dobbiamo farci beccare, se no ci fanno il mazzo, come si suol dire. Sta prendendo una piega veramente disastrosa comunque, cioè, veramente. Veramente disastrosa. Allora.
Good
Ah.
God! They're all here. They must have heard the gunshot.
Where is Lord Mortimer? Can anyone hear anything through the door?
Di qua direi, eh. Forse non è il caso di andare ad addentrarsi a quella mischia. Facciamo il giro lungo, va. Che forse è meglio. Dov'era la salita che non mi ricordo? Di qua, di qua, di qua, di qua. Bene. Perché no? Ma il giardino non era giù, non era su. Ma forse era di qua. Sapete che non mi ricordo più? Ho un piccolo problema di memoria in sto momento. Allora. Corridoio. Stanza di Godoi. Secondo piano, sotterranei, no? Piano terra. E dove sta? Ingresso, no. Il giardino. Sì, ma dov'è il giardino? Che non mi ricordo più. Aiuto. Aiuto. Qualcuno mi dia una mano. Non so più dov'era il giardino, ragazzi. No, non di qua. Sto cercando di scappare veramente in maniera abbastanza schifosa, ma d'altronde non posso fare altrimenti. Non è che era di qua? Ah no, questa è la stanza che non si può aprire. Allora andiamo giù per forza, fa diverso. Non c'è altro modo. Sarà giù. Forse giù e poi sali dopo da giù. Mi sa di sì. Certo che è un bel casino sta mappa. A me non piace. Non è fatta molto bene a mio parere. Poteva essere fatta un pochino meglio sta mappa qui, eh. Un po' confusionaria. Ma ora dove siamo? Di qua, era di qua mi sembra, se non sbaglio. No, ma era qui, c'è il giardino. Ho trovato il giardino, ragazzi. Non ci credo. Ho trovato il giardino. Cioè, veramente. A volte c'ho una memoria qua che... mamma mia, mi fa impazzire. Sul serio. Però ce l'abbiamo fatta. Questa è la cosa più importante. Certo che i caricamenti alla lunga sono veramente fastidiosi. Questo purtroppo è un problemino piccolino del gioco. I caricamenti troppo lunghi. Perché per andare da zona a un'altra ci vuole veramente troppo tempo. No, non è di qua. Dove si passava già? Di qua no. Di qua. Yes. Trovato. È ancora aperto, nessuno l'ha mai visto. Strana sta cosa, non dovrebbe essere in teoria chiuso il passaggio. È troppo sgamabile.
last, there you are.
Mother,
Spiegami.
wait,
Come, we have to be quick.
No, wait, Mother,
Time is running out, Louis. First, we must...
No! That's enough. I won't go a step further unless you explain to me what is going on here. I'm begging you. Talk to me.
You must trust me, my son. You are not ready yet.
You're the one who should trust me. Tell me what's happening.
You would never believe me.
I came all the way here for you. Now I've found you. I'm ready, Mother.
If only. Louis, I have always taught you to keep your mind open and rational. I know you are going to find this hard to believe, but what I am going to reveal to you is entirely true.
Many years ago, I found out that demons really do live among us,
I beg your pardon?
and that they can influence our thoughts.
Mother, listen to yourself. I know you're exhausted, but for crying out loud, listen to what you're saying. Demons? What next? An ancient monster with a head like an octopus? What do your demons look like? Have they got horns and a pointed tail?
No, these are not
Mortimer.
creatures with billy goat's legs. Forget your Christian folklore. Imagine them more as parasitic spirits. They possess their hosts and direct them from inside.
Parasitic spirits?
Yes, they are capable of going from one body to another as they see fit, and 2 of them are present on this island.
Right. So let me guess.
L'uomo nero e Babbo Natale. Mortimer sicuramente.
Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory, right?
You felt it too?
No, even if Home does look the part. But I don't know who else could do it, given that we're on their territory.
Many years ago, well before you were born, I crossed paths
Mortimer.
with one of them. Since then, I've spent my life trying to find it again. When we recovered the Alizif, I was persuaded that von Burchard was working for this demon in one way or another. But I thought he would hand the book to a middleman during this conference. That's where I made an error that could well turn out to be fatal. The one who Burchard was meant to give the book to was none other than the demon in person, Mortimer. Not to mention that Home had sent Volner to get it for him.
Home and Mortimer are demons?
They both seem to disagree about many things, but I'll admit I never knew exactly why. There are many of them, Louis, not just those 2.
Mother, have you any proof to support any of this?
Of course, but you do too. You had everything laid out in front of you. Didn't you notice anything?
Un botto di roba, sinceramente, cioè è tutto molto strano in sto posto.
I
Sì.
went beyond the nightmare, Mother.
You understood the Masonic date.
1191.
Of course! It was during that siege that the demon took possession of Sir Mortimer. They spent a whole night in conversation until the early hours of the morning. Mortimer had passed the test. He had charmed the demon, and so it chose him to be its host for centuries
Quindi è
to come.
immortale.
But tell me, did you find his secret study?
I did indeed.
Did you see his maps of the world?
He has contacts the world over.
Yes, I've been developing the Golden Order across the world for many years, and I've never seen anyone with such influence. It's simply inhuman.
Nessuno lo conosca.
I
fatto
must
che-
admit, I found it difficult to understand how and why Mortimer didn't have a place in history.
On the continent, Mortimer and Home are mere dandies who organize society balls. History forgets them with a disconcerting facility. No one speaks about them, and yet they whisper in the ears of kings and presidents.
Atti di proprietà.
Well, those property deeds across the world, all signed by the same hand and over several centuries.
I am proud of you, Louis.
I found your notes written in lemon juice.
Where all eyes size you up. At one stage, I was so afraid of losing my mind that I noted everything down. Congratulations, Louis. Wait, please tell me you didn't open Pandora's box.
The urn? Yes, I did. Why?
Too bad. We'll deal with it later.
Non ci credo. Vabbè.
You mean the conference?
How can you explain that someone manages to bring together so many important figures without anyone knowing?
Ma anche sta isola è un po' strana,
Security or personnel?
È tutto, credo.
Louis, I am proud of you. You came all this way. You found me. You have surpassed me.
You taught me everything I know. Right. How did it all begin?
I saw him.
What do you mean you saw him?
I was 20 years old. I was young and carefree. I traveled the world in search of adventure. In the Persian Gulf, we came across an ancient grimoire that became unlocked, composed of 7 parts. Each one was a book in itself, set in a sort of metal armor that structured the whole thing. When all the volumes were brought together, they formed a single book. On my return to Paris, I set to studying these pages. I spent all my days and nights studying them.
Oh, I can imagine you doing that.
But the writing was in a language I had never seen before, developed well before Sumerian, in my opinion. So I got the idea to form a small occult circle composed of all the major names in the occult world to see if anyone else could crack it.
And you found no one.
And I found someone, Louis. I found him, or rather he found me. He was young, charismatic, he was flamboyant.
Mortimer?
You mean Mortimer?
He was a veritable mine of knowledge. I showed him the book, and he was able to decipher a few passages. We spent several months together studying the pages. He helped me understand certain passages until I realized that he only translated a few parts for me. But I had aroused his interest. It was too late.
How so?
I mean to say he manipulated me. He used me, and in the end, he stole the book with all its secrets.
Did he ever go to your place?
Not once. At least I don't think so. But before disappearing, he proposed a pact between us. He proposed that I follow him and let him teach me, allow him to bring me up.
And you accepted?
Please don't be stupid. You don't make deals with the devil. After that, I spent my whole life looking for him. 3 years later, in Berlin, I just missed him. In London, I lost 6 members of the order in a chase. In 1741, in Tunisia, I found a sect of fanatics who had crossed paths with him once. 1741, in Poland. 1749, in India.
8 years ago in Venice.
We agreed never to speak about what happened
You
in
agreed,
Venice, Louis.
and that was before you spoke to me about demons. Wait, the baby we delivered, you and me, that night in Venice, did he have anything to do with Lord Mortimer?
The child was his son.
We stole his son? Are you insane? I always thought we took him to save him.
That was the case. It was precisely to save him from his father.
Need I remind you the mother died during childbirth? What became of the child?
Later. For the moment, that is not the key issue here. Once we found the Alizif in Paris, I followed von Borchart's trail here. I didn't think it would lead me straight to the demon. It was careless of me. He toyed with me for a few days, until I caught on, until I saw him as he was. But he had no intention of letting me leave. We are all his pawns, Louis, and if we don't want to spend the rest of our lives turning round in circles here, we must absolutely get off this island. All right, can we move on?
Wait a minute, one last thing. I want to know what happened with Elizabeth Adams.
Louis, we haven't time for those details.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I want to know.
She was one of the receptacles for these monsters. I met her parents when she was born. One of the demons got inside her. The demon used her to spy on her father, John Adams. He is one of the founding fathers and vice president of the United States, you know.
Mortimer possessed her?
No, I don't think it was Mortimer. Her father, John Adams, hired me to tend to her, but the evil in her was too deep. In spite of the various treatments I tried on her, I never succeeded in getting it out of her. It's not something I'm proud of, Louis, but I had to try everything.
Mamma mia che robe.
I want to know what happened between you and Emily's sister.
Great responsibility often brings difficult choices, Louis. That's all you need to know.
Non posso. Posso.
Mother, I won't take a step further if you don't answer me.
You dare blackmail me?
I'm listening.
All right, I used her. So there you are. Happy now? We had the Al-Azif, and I didn't think we would be able to escape with it. In order to ensure that the book did not fall into their hands, or that one of them couldn't read in us where we had hidden it, I asked Emily to...
It's Emma.
Yes, or rather for me, it was Emily. So I asked Emma to hide it without anyone seeing. And then I disposed of her. I am sorry for her, but she was part of the Golden Order, Louis. She knew the rules when she joined.
What did you negotiate about the Al-Azif with Volner?
Absolutely nothing. I managed to pull the wool over his eyes until I found a way to flee.
What was going on with the cannons in Tuscany?
It was nothing.
Since when does the Order finance wars?
The cannons for that Bonaparte fellow? Listen. Once in the lion's den, I did whatever I could to appear legitimate. So yes, I pretended to be interested in Mortimer's project about a young military man who was seeking funding for a foundry in Tuscany. Between you and me, if buying China would have enabled me to escape, I would have signed without hesitation.
Quanta roba.
Samuel Ritter du Choix. You wanted to send me a letter about Godoy.
I wanted you to run a check on Duke Manuel. But frankly, it doesn't really matter anymore now. Godoy is just a pawn like the others. He is not the one I was looking for.
You know, I found your package under a wharf plank.
As a matter of fact, I needed it yesterday. I wasn't expecting anyone to take it.
Gli ho rubato
On
praticamente.
the evening of my arrival, Cardinal Piaggi came looking for you. He was determined to give you a letter.
More of his lists. Louis, I think I know what's in that letter, and I beseech you to believe that it is the least of our worries. We can sort that out later.
La mano
Are you gonna tell me
invece.
what happened to your hand?
Better than that, I shall show you.
Addirittura. Vabbè,
Good.
proseguiamo.
I think that's about right. We shall speak about it once we get back to France.
Great actions for humanity have been decided by demons for centuries, Louis. They are playing with our destiny. We are their slaves. And it's time for it to stop. By the way, what was Mortimer's project at this conference?
He wants the United States to occupy all the North American territory. France should recover Louisiana and give it to the United States. In that case, the Americans would just have to push west to chase the Spanish from the continent once and for all.
And as Mortimer controls Washington, you may just as well say that it will put him at the head of a world superpower. We should do our utmost to put a stop to Mortimer's plans. But for the time being, there are more pressing matters.
E quali? Fa vedere che finalmente voglio vedere sta roba.
Are you going to tell me why we're here?
There. That's why we are here.
Ah. Così. Finisce così, proprio... Vabbè, così proprio di botto. Tra l'altro c'è scritto anche Bethesda, non è una compagnia di videogiochi, vero? No. Ok, livello 10. Attenzione, abbiamo 4 punti da sprecare. Ovviamente faremo il possibile per sprecarli al meglio. Etichetta. Possiamo fare erudizione, agilità e così, ok. Va bene, ci siamo.
Reassure me, we aren't going to have to force that one on.
Allora ragazzi, io direi che però per il momento può essere tutto. Ci fermiamo qua, visto che è finito l'episodio. E no, non è ancora finito in
I don't
realtà,
think
mi
we're
sa.
even capable of doing it.
Oh sì.
You're going to have to find a way to open it.
Why, of course. And what's inside?
Something to vanquish them with?
Perfect. So, how does it open?
We'll need several keys. I found a note from the architect who conceived the mechanism in Mortimer's secret study. We have to first gather 5 objects before we try anything.
Are the 5 objects the keys?
Exactly. We have the Clement III cross, the nails, the Gutenberg Bible, the exegesis of Judas, an armillary sphere, and all we need to match up the dates between the different calendars.
Non ho capito nulla, ma va bene.
Why a cross?
Well, I haven't the foggiest idea, but it just so happens that's what you are going to use to activate the mechanism. I found the one Mortimer kept. It belonged to Cardinal Guibert, better known by the name of Pope Clement III.
Perfect. Where is it?
Unfortunately, I've lost it.
Ma
When I
porca
lost my
miseria.
hand, I went dashing out, and it must have fallen from my pocket.
E mo dov'è?
Remember, Mother. I'm certain you can remember.
Let me think.
You were running.
I was bleeding to death.
You remember the pain.
I thought I was going to faint. Yes, I remember. I don't think it can be far, can it?
Would you have lost it outside?
No, I don't think so. It must be in the area. I don't remember going up with it.
Perfect. I'll search the crypt before leaving.
Ok. Poi, le
Some
chiodi.
nails?
Don't ask me. I'm not the one who made the mechanism, you know. When I arrived, there were already a few of them inserted, so I didn't have to worry about those. On the other hand, I remember seeing some in Mortimer's secret study, behind his nightmare.
In a golden cup? Yes. Yes, I saw them too.
Perfect. It will be easy for you to find them then.
Ok.
You need 3 of them.
3 chiodi.
You remember what to do about the rollers? 1191 to enter, and 6466 to exit.
Va bene.
Of course.
Poi,
Exegesis. Anything else?
Did you manage to vanquish the Medusa?
To open the chimney? Yes, absolutely.
So you've already come across it. It's the Bible of Judas that is exposed in the secret room behind the chimney.
Why do they call it an exegesis?
Because that's what it is, and not an apocryphal Bible, strictly speaking. It's the study of a text with a summary, not an actual Bible. Anyway, well done for the Gorgon. You did well. You didn't get tricked by the light bouncing back.
Thanks. Do you think I can take it safely?
We haven't got a choice, Louis. Without it, we won't be able to work out this cursed mechanism.
insomma, un casino.
This is the book in which you left your correspondence with Duchess Hillsborough, isn't it?
That's right.
You still believe it's in the tower room, don't you?
I don't know. There is only one way to find out, though.
Right. I shall go and see. There's one in the portrait gallery.
Yes, but it's enormous. If you don't want to have to go back and forth several times, then I suggest you get a smaller one.
What did you do then?
I didn't think I'd need one. I started without one, and I lost my hand before I did need one. And you can see the result.
What do you mean by the concordance of dates exactly?
Don't worry about that. We already have them. They are written on the back of the message I just gave you.
Vabbè, ho capito.
One last thing before you go. Be very careful. If you come across anyone, they can all potentially be spies of Mortimer or Holm. Don't ever confide in anyone because a demon can slip inside them at any moment.
Wait, not all of them though. Take Washington.
Especially Washington. He's been conditioned by Mortimer for years. Look at them, for crying out loud. How do you explain their behavior otherwise? The most influential politicians in the Western world gather together without the least protection, without a single aid to assist them, to participate in a conference during which the guests start dropping like flies. Me, Adams, Peru, Hillsborough. Look at the number of calamities that have happened over the past few days. And not one of them has asked to leave the island? Do you find that normal? You'll see. Go up to the manor to look for the keys, and I wager not one of them will speak to you about my being in Emily's room.
Do you think so?
Go on, you'll see. And come back with all the objects in one go. Time is against us.
And remember,
Però
the code to get out of the secret
Washington
office is
me l'ha detto che c'era lei,
6466.
me l'aveva detto però, Washington, quindi boh. Vabbè, prendiamo altre cose, questi no, vabbè, non posso, gli altri non posso, vabbè. Ok, ok, va bene. Devo trovare un botto di roba, ragazzi. Vabbè, ho capito. Io però per il momento farei basta. Noi ci becchiamo al prossimo episodio in cui sarà un trovare tutte le cose possibili e inimmaginabili. Ragazzi, per oggi è tutto, vi ringrazio. Ci becchiamo al prossimo episodio. Ciao ragazzi.